This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some important updates to share with you. Finally, the Inflation Reduction Act has passed in the Senate, but will it actually reduce inflation? I'll give you more details about that whole thing and process. And Bernie Sanders, not too happy about this. He tried to add in the child tax credit, but that got shot down, plus a few other stimulus provisions, and those got shot down as well. I'll play a video clip from Bernie Sanders, not too happy about this bill passing. Also, $200 checks have just been approved from stimulus money in one state. I'll give you some other more important updates as well. Hope you're having a more than Monday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced update, hit the like button down below. Senate passes Democrats' sweeping health care and climate bill, also known as the Inflation Reduction Act. So this was a marathon. It was a 51-50 vote with Vice President Kamala Harris breaking the tie. So no Republicans voted for it. All Democrats voted for it there. Take a look at more details about this package and how you may benefit from it.
Your big story this morning is out of Washington, D.C., and it has a lot to do with energy. Senate's passing what they call the Inflation Reduction Act, basically sort of a Build Back Better 2 or the Manchin spending bill, whatever you want to call it. A very narrow vote, all the Republicans against, all the Democrats for. Probably not surprising in 2022, but let's get more about what we do know and some very last-minute changes. Alon Moy joining us now. And Alon, I guess here's the thing. Bernie Sanders doesn't like it. The oil and gas industry kind of likes it. If everybody's a little bit annoyed, maybe that's a win.
Well, I think that the business industry may find some things to quibble with in this bill, but Democrats certainly are celebrating the passage of their health and climate package in the Senate over this past weekend. Now, as you mentioned, there was some last-minute drama leading up to that moment, though. The Senate parliamentarian nixed a provision that would have capped price increases for prescription drugs in the private market, and Republicans successfully fought to exempt private equity from that new 15% corporate minimum tax, with backing from vulnerable Democrats like Senators Kyrsten Sinema, Raphael Warnock, and Maggie Hassan. But the framework of Democrats' proposal remained intact. It allows Medicare to negotiate the price of prescription drugs and caps insulin costs at $35 a month for seniors. It extends Affordable Care Act subsidies and provides new incentives for clean energy. And it establishes a floor on corporate taxes, imposes a new tax on stock buybacks, and invests $80 billion in the IRS.
This Senate Democratic majority has achieved what countless others have come to Washington promising to do, but ultimately failed to deliver. And I am really confident that the Inflation Reduction Act will endure as one of the defining feats of the 21st century.
Democrats hope it'll at least be a defining feature of the midterm elections. Already, the progressive group Move On is running a six-figure ad campaign in Arizona, Georgia, and Nevada. It also touts the July jobs number and the drop in gas prices. So, Brian, we'll see if Democrats can keep this momentum going all the way through November. Back over to you.
Oh, no, Elon, we got a lot more to do here. So right now it's just you and I. We're going to talk for like 35 minutes. All right, so let's jump into a number of provisions here. First off, the Democrats are going to say, we've got Jared Bernstein coming up a bit later on in the show, and like and respect Jared very much, and he will say there are no new taxes in this bill. And technically that is true, but with D.C., technicals may not be the thing, because they're putting, into your point, 90 or whatever $billion to the IRS. That's going to more than double the number of agents. There'll be more agents than there are rich people, so I've got to assume part of this revenue projection is increased audits, and they're going to have to increase the audits on mostly middle and upper middle class America.
Well, that is a point of contention. Certainly Republicans say that that is going to have to be the case simply by the numbers as you sort of laid out there, Brian. But the IRS and the Treasury Department has been very consistent on this in saying their goal is to target higher income people who aren't paying the taxes that they owe. They say that is where the real money is. That is where the tax gap, as they call it, is. And so it makes more sense to invest resources to go after those types of taxpayers.
So what are your thoughts on that? Is this a good thing, bad thing? Are you for it, against it? Will it actually reduce inflation? Will it raise the taxes? Let me know your thoughts on that. Still has to pass in the House, but Republicans say Democrats will pay the price in midterms for passing massive spending bill. Obviously, Republicans. None of them voted for it, and they're not too happy about it. Basically saying that they scorn Democrats for passing this multi-billion-dollar package, and that it's going to come back to haunt them in November, saying Democrats will pay the price in November for raising taxes on families during a recession, from one Republican. And then another Republican saying here, Ted Cruz saying the Schumer Manchin bill will drive up inflation and prices, hammer small businesses and American manufacturing, increase the price of gas, and sick the IRS on Americans, all while raising taxes on Americans in nearly every tax bracket, including those who make less than $400,000 a year. Huge statement. Is it true, though? Not according to the Democrats. So we're hearing two different sides on this, but one Democrat, or actually one independent who usually votes Democrat, Bernie Sanders, still not too happy about this. So this was actually right before the bill passed, but you could take a look at his opinions and what he thinks about this bill and how it could actually change to be better.
This bill, and tell me a little bit about your objection to it. You are going to vote in favor of the passage of this act, but you did speak against something about it and propose an amendment.
Well, Aldi, look, this country faces enormous crises in terms of health care, the high cost of prescription drugs, child care, higher education, climate, income and wealth inequality. This is what we call a reconciliation bill. And what that means is that we only need 50 votes. You don't have to get 60 votes. You don't need any Republican votes to do something significant for working families in this country. And unfortunately, for fairly well-known reasons, we have two conservative Democrats. We couldn't get the 50 votes that we need, really, to impact the needs of working families. So I have offered a series of amendments to strengthen the bill, which have not succeeded. Bottom line is that you have a bill which does some good things. We put some $300 billion into clean energy. And at a time when we face an existential threat in terms of climate change, this is a step forward. But on the other hand, as part of the deal, we're allowing oil and gas companies the opportunity to drill on millions of acres of public water and land. We're giving more tax breaks and corporate welfare to the oil industry. There is a reason why BP and Shell, two of the largest oil companies in this country, are supporting the bill. In terms of prescription drugs, this legislation takes a very baby step forward. We pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. In some cases, you well know, we've talked about it, 10 times more than Canadians. What this bill does is say that Medicare should negotiate prescription drug prices, but only after 4 years, and they start off with only 10 drugs and go from there. So it's a very modest step forward. Bottom line is I'm going to support the bill because given the crisis of climate change, the environmental community says this is a step forward. It doesn't go anywhere near as far as it should. It is a step forward.
And obviously, of all the matters in there, these two issues, whether it be climate or health care, are near and dear to both of our hearts. I want to talk specifically about some of the things you wanted to do. You had an amendment, 5210, requiring that Medicare not pay more than the VA. Right. Tell me what that was meant to do.
This is a very simple amendment. Right now, I don't know if anybody knows this, for 30 years, the Veterans Administration has been negotiating prescription drug prices with the VA, similar to what Canada does, what countries all over the world do. The result is that the VA pays half as much for prescription drugs as Medicare. Now, how insane is it that in one federal government, you got the VA paying 50% of what Medicare is paying for prescription drugs? So all that my amendment said is, you know what? Medicare should not pay any more than the VA. Do what they've been doing for 30 years. Now, when you take on the pharmaceutical industry, you are taking on the most powerful lobby here in Washington, D.C. They have an unlimited amount of money to make sure we pay outrageously high prices. They got 1,700 paid lobbyists. So bottom line is this legislation is a baby step forward. It doesn't go as far as it should.
You had another amendment which caught my interest, and that was the establishment of a civilian climate corps. What does that mean?
Well, what that's about is the bill puts $300 billion into clean energy, and that's a good thing. That's probably the best thing in the bill. But you know, the leaders, as you well know, in America and all over the world, the people who have been leading the effort to take on the fossil fuel industry and transform our energy system, they are the young people. They're out on the streets, they're demonstrating, they're demanding disinvestment from fossil fuel companies. They've been the leader. And what these young people want to do is they want to be able to roll up their sleeves and go to work in doing energy efficiency, doing sustainable energy. And what this legislation is about, and we had it in the original Build Back Better bill, it provides $30 billion in providing good jobs for some 400,000 young people, educational benefits. And it says, we need your help. Help us to transform our energy system. And it would have, I believe, created a lot of excitement among young people.
So Bernie Sanders clearly not too happy about this bill passing as is. He would have loved to change it, add more stimulus provisions, stimulus checks perhaps, if it was up to Bernie Sanders. Stimulus check update, Bernie Sanders pushes for child tax credit extension. So with the whole vote-a-rama, each senator was able to put an amendment forward and it went for vote. Almost no amendments got in there, but Bernie Sanders, one of them was the child tax credit to be extended throughout this year. And that did not go through. But in terms of other stimulus that did pass, separate from the Inflation Reduction Act, millions of Americans in line to get $200 direct payments thanks to billion-dollar pot. Are you eligible? So a proposal that will send cash to millions of Americans has just been approved, but with smaller payments than previously planned. So Indiana House approved a bill Friday that would pay $200 in rebates to those eligible from the state's bulging budget surplus. So basically in Indiana, if you live in Indiana and you filed a tax return in 2020 or 2021, you will receive the $200 check. So yeah, it's coming from the billion-dollar pot, which was from the American Rescue Plan. Looks like they still have some money left over there, but yeah, live in Indiana, you get a $200 check. Is that good enough, though? I don't know. Anyone in Indiana living there, are you happy about this $200? Should it be more? Should it be less? Let me know your thoughts. And that is all the news that I have for you today. To hopefully brighten your day a bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella's tip of the day. I want to tell you that you could be anything that you want in the world. You could be, for example, you could be a veterinarian, take care of dogs, help dogs, or you could be a nurse. And you could help people, or you could be a doctor, or you could be like anything, as you want. You are your own self. You could be whatever you want when you get older. If you're older. Bye, that was Bill's tip of the day.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. So right after this video, I'm going to go get Bella ready for her camp this week. So she's actually doing wakeboard camp, which is pretty cool. So pretty excited for her. Going to go help her get ready for that. And yeah, hopefully you have a great rest of your day. If you want to check out any of my other videos on my other channels, you could click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.